Let's also talk about the key mid-sized private sector bank and lenders. And we've seen a couple of these earnings out, and they're in fact painting a challenging picture for the sector with pressure on both asset quality and margins. Harsh, give us a big breakdown on this.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are three private sector banks which have come out with numbers. You have a Bandhan, you have an AU Small, and then you have a Yes Bank as well. That's the margin picture. The margins have actually fallen across the board, not surprisingly, but for an AU, the margins have fallen much more than anticipated. They're penciling in a further margin fall as well in Q2 of FY26. So that's something to keep in mind. Look at the NPA ratios as well. They've inched higher, more for a Bandhan than anything else. But even an AU is seeing some pressure where asset quality is concerned. ROA is though inching up for both of them. No ROA guidance for AU for FY26 full year. That's with regard to Yes Bank as well. Flat with regard to the QOQ margin number. NPA ratio is also flat and a 10 basis point inch up in the ROA. So relatively better where Yes Bank is concerned within the mid-tier banks. Let's talk about Bandhan. H2 FY26 to see an improvement in the credit cost. That will definitely level out the full year credit cost. Growth is expected to be between 15 to 16% in FY26. That's what management tells us. And margins are expected to bottom in Q2 of FY26. So that's the other piece that one needs to keep in mind. Where an AU Small Finance Bank is concerned, the second piece with regard to AU is also the fact that your credit cost guidance has been revised. I did mention that upward to 1% for the full year FY26. So that's something to keep in mind. Stable performance from a Yes Bank overall. So that's the one key positive. NPA ratios are flat. Credit costs continue to be quite controlled in that sense. And therefore, Yes Bank seeing that amount of tailwind. In terms of pecking order, Yes Bank was the better of all three. AU Small Finance Bank was slightly less impressive, both in guidance and numbers. Bandhan Bank, of course, was the least impressive. But if growth starts to come back, that could well be a positive. In terms of the macro and the economy, from all of this that's coming together, microfinance is still a pain point. Recovery is expected in H2. Small CV is showing signs of delinquencies. This is coming out from AU Small Finance Bank's numbers as well as commentary. So that's something to keep in mind and keep on your radar. You'll want to see what CV does. And credit costs in the credit card remains elevated, especially in the hinterland. That's broadly the takeaways coming in from some of these mid-small banks.
Okay, so those are the key takeaways that we are seeing for these mid-tier banks in focus.